Good day everyone, you're welcome to the channel. This is Yuglo Fashion and thank you so much for stopping by. In our tutorial class today, I'll be showing you how to take proper measurement for pants, how to draft, cut and also sew pants, and lastly how to make a slanted pockets. So please stay tuned and enjoy the tutorial. It's beginner friendly. First of all, measure from waist to the fullest part of the hip. Next, from waist also to the fullest part of the thigh, and also from waist to the fullest part of the nail. That's the top nail. Next is the low nail, and that's like 3 inches or 2.5 inches away from the top nail. And after that, you measure the fullest part of your leg, which is the calf, and you proceed to measure the ankle. So when you are done with the vertical measurements, you proceed to measure the horizontal measurement, and for this you start from the waistline as well. So to measure the waistline or any horizontal measurement, you ensure that your index finger is able to move freely in between the tape, like you see me do. So that's 25 inches for the waistline of this mannequin. This is not the actual measurements I used for the trouser, but I just decided to show you how to go about it while measuring on your client or measuring yourself. So next is the hip. Every part that you take vertical measurement of, you will ensure you take the horizontal measurement as well. Next is the thigh, and you measure the thigh separately. You can't measure them together because they appear. You measure it separately. The fullest part where you measure the vertical measurement, you take the thigh measurement. You do the same for the top nail and also for the low nail. Next, you measure the calf. That's the fullest part of your leg. You measure it round, and then you measure the ankle. And when you're measuring the ankle, just ensure that you can pull down the tape like you want to remove your trousers from your leg. Next is the total circumference of the couch, and to do that, you measure half an inch below the waistline. I taped it down. Then I took the tape to the back, and I measure it to where it will be convenient for the person to sit without showing the butt. So these are the measurements I've taken so far. And for the crouch, to calculate your crouch, you just divide your hip by 4. The one I measured now is the total, and you will understand better as we proceed in this tutorial why I calculated the crouch and the total is different from the one I used for the front. You understand how I came about that. So you can say the crouch round, which is 26.5, though the measurement of the mannequin is quite different from the measurement of my client, but that the crouch and their hip are the same. I have also marked the vertical measurement on my pattern paper, and at the left side of the pattern paper I marked ½ inch right from the waistline down to the ankle. So you can see the waist to hip, the waist to crouch, everything I've measured them. And at the ankle I measured another 2 inches, that's for the hem. Now we are done taking the vertical measurements. Next is to take the horizontal measurement, and for this I will start with the hip. The hip is 44 inches divided by 4. That will give 11 inches. So I took the quarter of the hip, which is 11 inches, and I placed my tape on the ½ inch at the hip line and marked 11 inches. Then I connect the 11 inches up to the crouch level and also connect it back to the waistline. And at the waist, I mark the quarter of the waist circumference, which is 40 divided by 4, and that's 10. But to mark this, I did not start from the ½ inch. I marked it to the left side, that is from the hip measurement to close to the ½ inch I left at the side. I hope you understand this. So, and I connected it back to the hip. Next is the crouch. So for this crouch, I marked 2.5 inches away from the hip measurements, and I used my curve ruler to connect it back to the hip. So this crouch actually depends on how big your client is. You can use like 2 inches, 2.5 and 3 inches to extend it from the hip. So the total I have here at the crouch is 13.5. You know, it was 11 inches and I added 2.5 to it, so making 13.5 inches. So I folded the tape into two and marked the midpoint of 13.5, which is like 6.75. I marked the 6.75. Then I ensure I mark the 6.75 right from the crouch down to the M line, and I connect with my ruler. This will serve as guide for the measurement of every other part that I'll be taking. So we are done with the waist and the hip. Next is the thigh. And to calculate the measurement of the thigh, just divide the thigh by 2. This is because the thigh and every other remaining parts are not joined together like the waist and the hip. So I'll just divide that by 2. 26 divided by 2 will give 13 inches. So, and the 13 inches, I folded the tape into two to get the midpoint. And the midpoint, I placed it on the guideline and marked the 13 inches. You know, now we are marking the middle of every other measurements we have. So this is 13 inches already, and I connect with ruler again. Next is the top nail, and to get the top nail again, the circumference is 23. 23 divided by 2 will give 11.5. So I just folded the tape into two to get the midpoint again and placed it on the guideline, which is 5.75, and I marked it on both right and left side of the guideline, and also connect it back to the thigh. So I followed this same process till it reaches the ankle. Next, I used curve ruler to shape all the necessary part that needs to be shaped, and at the M, I marked 1/4 inch, then connect it back to the ankle. This will help to balance the M and the ankle while folding. Next is the waistline, and for the waistline I marked 4 inches, which is the nipple to nipple span, and I also marked 4.5 inches for the length, and I connected the two, and on both sides I marked ½ inch, which in total will make 1 inch, and I slant it back to the 4.5 inches. That's the dot. You can see it's 1 inch, so I added back the 1 inch to the side. Then I cancelled the first measurement I made. At the middle of the pant, I came down with ½ inch and I connected it to the side of the waistline. And I also added zipper allowance. So for the zipper allowance, I marked 2 inches at the waistline and also at the hip, and I connected the two together. And mark it to the ½ inch level. So this is the zipper allowance. Next is to add allowance to the front pattern, and to do this, you remember I left ½ inch at the side, so I'll just add back the ½ inch to the measurement. So for the waistline, I added ½ inch at the hip and every other part as well, and I proceed to trace it out with my marker. So this is our front pattern ready, and I proceed to cut it out. Next, I placed it on another pattern paper to cut the back, and this time I ensured that the pattern paper is longer and bigger than the front pattern. This is because the back is always bigger than the front, and also at the waistline the back and the front are always equal at the edge, but at the middle the back will be longer than the front. Reason is because of the sitting position, so I marked the back 1 inch longer than the front. You can see. Then I connected with my ruler. I folded the zipper allowance in and I connected it. Next is to add up the allowance, the 2 inches allowance I mentioned earlier, and this will take effect at the side. So I placed the tape directly on the measurement of the front and I added 2 inches right from the waistline down to the hem. I then used marker to trace it out. You can see it's very easy to cut the back. Please note that you have to transfer the darts also to the back. The back also needs darts. Though I did not show it on this pattern paper, but I added it to my fabric. Next is to confirm the crouch. You know, I earlier explained that you have to measure the total circumference of the crouch. So this is how to confirm whether it's correct or not. So I placed the tape on the waistline and I measured the crouch. So we have 13.75 for the back. You know, back is 1 inch longer than the front. So let's confirm what we have for the front. So I folded the zipper allowance in. I did not measure the zipper allowance side. So I just placed the tape on the waistline again and I measured it round. So we have 12.75 here at the front. So I added the two together and that gives 26.5, which means our crouch is correct. So remember, we are still going to stitch like half an inch from the front at the waistline and also half an inch at the back at the waistline to connect to band. So our band will be like 1.5 inch, so which that will cover up for the half inch that we are stitching at the waistline. And also when you are joining the pants together, the middle you stitch half, so the 1.5 inch for the band will cover up for all of that. I hope you understand what I explained here. I have cut out the pattern on my main fabric, and for the front I reshaped the zipper allowance. So for the left side I cut out the zipper allowance but I left the one on the right side. You will understand why it is like that as we proceed in this tutorial. Next is to fix the pocket, and to do this I cut 4 pieces for the pockets, 2 for each side. First of all, I picked one of the two. I marked 2.5 inch and also the length is 6 inches. I marked 6 inches. This is optional, you can make yours like 7. And I connected the two and cut the excess out. I proceed to pin and stitch. So after stitching that first side, I added back the remaining side of the pocket and stitched the edges. So now we are done with the slanted pockets. Next is the zipper allowance. So for that I added interface to the zipper side here, and here also I added little interface to it because this is the part that I will just stitch on, and I also weave the edges. So first of all, you pin the crouch part. After pinning, I stitched on it and I proceed to iron in the zipper allowance, and I placed my zipper on under it, and I proceed to pin both the zipper and the allowance together. Now we are done with the first side. So here is the other side, and I place the other side on the zipper. I flip the pants to the wrong side and I pin both the zipper and the pants together. So this is it. Now this is the part to top stitch. Just chalk the shape out and top stitch on it. You can see it. Next is to fix the flip on the zipper. So, and to do this I already cut like 9 by 4 inches, and I stitched 3 sides, and the other side that was left open I weaved it and placed it at the other side of the zipper I cut, and I stitched on it. So this is what it looks like after the stitch. That's the zipper. Next is to stitch both the back and the front pants together. So this is it. You place the back, you first pick the hem and pin it round to the other side, to the other hem, and stitch. When you are done, you stitch the allowance you added. After stitching the allowance, you proceed to add the band. I used 44 inches for the length of the band and 4 inches for the width. Remember I said the width will be 1.5, so I folded half inch at both edges, so this makes it 3 inches, and unfold will give me 1.5 inch, and at the edge here I folded 1 inch, and I proceed to pin the band to the waistline and also stitch on it. So thank you very much for watching this tutorial to the end. See you in my next video. Bye.